Yo, Purple Political Talk here. Today is Wednesday, July 21st, 2021, and today we're going to be discussing Joe Biden's popularity ratings and seeing how they've significantly fallen from where they were at the beginning of his term and what that could mean for a 2024 presidential election and even in closer terms, the midterm elections. As you know, approval ratings do have something to do with how the incumbent party does in these elections. But before we get started, I wanted to remind you guys to like, subscribe, turn on post notifications to be up to date with our latest content. And also, I want to remind you guys that channel memberships are now open. So that would be a great way to support the channel. With that said, I also wanted to give a very big shout out to David Maxwell, our Gold Purple Political Talk channel member. Thank you so much for your support and on the videos. And yeah, so now that we've gotten all of that out of the way, let's get started with the video and discuss Biden's approval rating. So I'm using the FiveThirtyEight approval rating tool, and this lets us see kind of all the approval polls that are there, and they put them on a graph so we can see the constant up and down of the approval rating. So with this said, Biden came into office as one of the most popular presidents in recent years, probably since Obama, and we could actually go check that in this tool they have, where you see, well, Obama was certainly more popular, but at certain levels, Obama's approval rating went down faster than Biden's is. You know, one of the things we're definitely seeing is how, one, we're seeing very polarized politics, and we're seeing that the approval ratings really don't change much. But I think it's important to note that at a certain point, Biden only had a 35% disapproval rating. Today, that's up to 42%. That's an 8% more of disapproval rating. And truly, I think that's something that's dangerous for Biden. His approval rating per se hasn't really dropped that much. It's more that his disapproval rating has risen. And, this already puts us in this little, purplish area where we see how there's actually a chance that voters actually disapprove of Biden. Compared to Trump, he's certainly more popular. However, one of the things we do have to think about is, one, Democrats have a lot of more manpower, which means that at a nationwide poll level, they're probably going to end up winning most of these polls. Now, when it comes to midterm races and Senate races, I'm going to talk about how these polls and the rise of Biden's unpopularity could have an impact. And before I do get into that, I really do want to talk about what are some of the possible causes for these disapproval ratings. So basically, I would say it's a couple of things. First, just supporting certain policies that aren't as popular with the whole country, and just certain things and aspects of a culture war that exists and persists in America. I think that's one of the things that politically a lot of people do not talk about, how there is a culture war. There is the war between the left and the right. There is the war between the woke movement and then the anti-woke movement. Whether you agree with either side of the argument, I think it can be stressed that this has been one of the biggest cultural wars we've seen in America, and both parties are really inciting it. So with that level, we're going to see a more polarized sense of politics. If we can see in these polls how he's comparing to Obama. Obama had a mass approval, downfall in his, this would be in his first year term, I guess. And we saw how nearing to the 2010 elections, we saw that big drop in approval rating. Biden's not necessarily there yet, but he's almost there. With Trump, we saw how he actually gained popularity towards the end of his presidency, and then it completely dropped. You see, all of these things come to show that approval ratings are something that definitely do not stick. They change daily. But, they do have some sort of impact on how things go. I want to start by discussing the 2024 map and chat about how how in this map we're actually seeing a very interesting scenario, because with the lower approval ratings, all the states in yellow could actually end up flipping. So these are going to be the states that are always going to end up being close, and in most of my predictions, these are states I put either in lean or tilt margins. Now, what's dangerous for Biden here? If his approval keeps on going down, most likely than not, it would be related to either A, the economy, or B, the culture war. We're going to see impacts here. I would say, as it stands right now, if Biden runs, and again, this is all considering Biden runs for re-election, but the other map we're going to talk about, which is the midterm map, we know for sure Biden's going to be a factor. With this 2024 map, we can see, well, against a generic Republican, I would say that the Republican probably wins in Wisconsin. We see Biden take Nevada. We probably see Biden narrowly take Georgia and narrowly take Arizona. And then he probably takes Michigan as well. We already see him at 273, but very narrowly. Pennsylvania is a real toss-up, and then we see North Carolina usually end up going to the Republicans in most of my predictions. Let's give Biden also Nebraska's 2nd district. And then let's just suppose that Pennsylvania is carried by Biden. This is how things stand right now. If the economy keeps on going down, which is we're starting to see certain impacts of a economic fall in our economy, especially with how the stock market has been doing, with how many jobs we actually have out, and we're gonna have a job deficit, which causes a lack of productivity. All these things are gonna cause economic downfall, or could cause economic downfall in the future. If things continue to go as they're going for Biden, we could end up seeing, Arizona easily flip to the Republicans, Georgia easily flip. We could see Pennsylvania easily flip, and that loses them the election. I think I can't stress enough that for Biden, it is actually really important to keep his approval ratings up. Make sure that the things he's doing are popular, because that's truly what's going to help him and the Democrats gain support throughout the elections. Let's go and talk about the 2022 midterms. The midterms are coming up, and, there's some of the most important races when it comes to Biden's presidency. And Biden's approval rating could continue to drop if the midterms do not get good for him. Now, with the way that things are going, I would say that this is how these races fall. I would say Nevada is pretty much Democratic, and this is just, I put them in safe margins. I don't think that, like, Florida, for example, will be safe Republican. This is just to show you guys the states that I think could be impacted. I would think Nevada could go for the Democrats. I do think that, as it stands right now, with Chris Sununu not in the race, New Hampshire goes probably to the Democrats. Again, this is getting more into individualized races. We probably see a Democrat winning in Pennsylvania. We see Mark Kelly holding on in Arizona. That gives him 50 seats. Gives us Georgia. That's it. That's enough for the Democrats to have an outright majority, even if I think Ron Johnson will hold on in Wisconsin. A Republican would win in Ohio, and in North Carolina would go for the Republicans. 49-51. This is how things probably stand right now. Let's suppose that Chris Sununu runs and actually makes a state go for the Republicans. It's 50-50. Biden's approval ratings are going to come into play in these close states, because at the end of the day, who are the independent voters? They are the ones that usually deciding factors in those approval ratings, and they're also deciding factors in these races. So I could easily see a state like Arizona or Georgia, even Pennsylvania flipping, if Biden's approval ratings keep going down. I want to go back to this map. Well, again, it's not really the approval ratings going down. It's the disapprovals going up. And that pretty much means that Americans across the nation are going to be more polarized to vote against Biden. And trust me, it's a lot easier to go vote someone out because you're not excited to vote for them than it is, to gain all the support that you do have and bring them to the polls. And I think there's been many examples of that in the past. But overall, Biden's approval ratings right now are not where he wants them to be. And I think moving forward, he's going to end up seeing a big statistics where he see his approval ratings going down. So this was it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If so, please give it a huge thumbs up. Like, subscribe, turn on post notifications to be up to date with our latest content. We'll be putting out more political content out tomorrow. And this is it for today. Thank you guys so much for watching, and goodbye.